Hello everybody, thank you for being here today. In this video I will show you how I built a miniature rustic oven using XPS foam. This is the sixth video for the medieval kitchen series, so look for my other videos to see how I built other kitchen furniture like a cabinet, table and benches. But for now, let's begin with this build. For this piece, I use XPS foam since this material can be easily molded into looking like stone or bricks and making it ideal for creating this kind of furniture. I started by cutting all the individual pieces like walls, furnace, covers, and chimney. And then I started gluing them with the hot glue gun. Since this oven would be placed against the wall, I had to take extra care so all the elements, once glued, would be aligned with a straight vertical line in the rear part of the object. For the chimney, first I traced the design with a fine liner and then cut it to give it shape. After all the pieces were completely glued, I proceeded to sand vertices and corners of the object using a fine-grained sandpaper. I use a little piece of balsa wood as a small detail I will add to this build. Later on, I will explain the detailing of it. After finishing the sanding of the pieces, I started tracing with a fine liner the individual bricks and stones. So I can carve the individual pieces using an X-Acto blade. I recommend for this type of detailing to use a chisel-shaped blade. Then I use a small rough stone to add some texture to the pieces where bricks would be represented. As you can notice, when I glued some of the pieces, there were some visible gaps between them. To fill them, I used a combination of white school glue, which has a dense consistency, with some fine-grained sand to give a textured finish to the areas covered with glue. To begin the painting process, I applied an acrylic black primer coating. After finishing the priming, I gave it a dark gray coating, mixing white and black acrylics with water, applied in a washway. I applied several gray tone coatings, each of them in a lighter tone than the previous one, using the same paint as before, just adding a little more white color. Then I apply a base color using a mix of white, black, and burnt sienna acrylics to create a tan color. As complementary tone, I mixed yellow cadmium and burnt sienna, thin it down with water and apply it in a washway to give the piece a more yellowish tone. After the base and complementary colors had completely dried, I applied a white dry brush over the edges, corners, and brick pieces. This to enhance the rough texture of the surface. After all the painting phases were finished, I thought the whole piece looked very monochromatic and I wanted to add some variety in tones in some elements. So I decided to give a slight wash to the brick pieces using burnt sienna thinned down with water. Once I finished the main object, I proceeded to finish up the wooden piece using an X-Acto blade and a scriber to add some details to it. Then I proceeded to paint the piece using burnt sienna and black matte acrylics, both thinned down with water. The idea was to get to the same tone that I used in the rest of the furniture in previous builds. After the paint was dry, I proceeded to add some details using some small pieces of steel wire. Finally, I glued the wooden piece to the main object using white school glue. I liked a lot the final result of this piece, especially the top wooden detail, which works as a way of giving contrast to the whole kind of monochromatic XPS object. Anyway, I think I will try giving some different tone to the brick parts to accentuate this contrast between materials. This I will do when assembling the complete diorama in a future video. In the meantime, please tell me what you think of this build and the process. I would love to hear from you or read you in the comment section. Have a great day. Thanks.